In the 1960s, the United States government implemented a federal financial aid through Title IV. They called it a Title IV IV, which explains how the government is going to help people with grants and loans in order to attend college, in order to attend vocational schools, in order to attend degree-granting institutions such as ours, etc. The need for financial aid to attend schools is obvious. Education has become expensive because a lot of high-tech equipment is needed, because experienced faculty are needed, because the administrative staff is needed to support the institution. And a lot of for-profit schools have emerged with the opportunity to bring something new to the schools. And most of these new emerging schools or emerged schools are schools that are in distance learning. And we are in distance learning. We have a history of going back to 1978, but we are still exploring new ways to bring our brand, our style of education to the public, to satisfy them. One of the things that has occurred to us is that with the high cost of education, students are being caught in an educational financial trap. For instance, to attend a school like, I'll use a big name, brand name school like Harvard or Yale or USC, the tuition alone at the undergraduate level is $40,000, $50,000 a year. I don't know how many people can afford that. So therefore, they have to rely upon government grants and loans to support their education for 4 years. On top of that, there may be living expenses, transportation expenses, books, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the cost of an undergraduate education in America now at a private school or even at a public institution is somewhere in the neighborhood of $50,000 for an undergrad, way up to $200,000. When you go into graduate school, I'll use just one example. If you were to go to obtain a JD in law, which takes 3 years at a classroom-based school, you may find your tuition to exceed $100,000 for that educational program. Loans and grants are what people rely upon to get through. The unfortunate thing is loans have to be repaid. And if you think of the magnitude of what a $100,000 loan looks like, accumulating interest at 3, 4, 5, or even 7%, then you realize the magnitude of the indebtedness that individuals are faced with when they come right out of school. You can't expect, with a bachelor's degree or even a master's degree, to be making enough money to pay off this loan, yet at the same time afford perhaps a marriage, perhaps a family, perhaps a car, perhaps a desire to get your own residence, perhaps even the barest luxuries are now out of reach if you're paying $600 or $700 or $800 a month in interest alone on a loan. Most people taking out federally sponsored student loans don't realize that the government allows you 25 years to pay back the loan. That's equivalent to a mortgage. So here you are, graduating from college, your first job, your second job, graduating from graduate school with a better job than you had before, faced with almost a mortgage. This is a burden. We've recognized this burden over the years, and that's why Cal Southern does not offer federal financial aid, does not offer that. We figured we'd have to attack this problem from 2 ways. One, reduce the cost of the tuition, of what it costs you to get into school. And 2, you can make monthly payments, interest-free, no debt accumulation. And if you make these payments on a regular basis, the same payment you'd pay for an automobile. Then by the time you graduate, you will have very little or no money owed us for tuition. As a distance learning institution online, immediately the savings that appear to our students is no travel, no relocation, no living expense, no quick lunches or quick dinners. These save an estimated 30% on the cost of your education. The cost to go to school is not only tuition, it's also transportation, living expenses, time away from family, things like that. We have provided online instruction and interaction between the individual and the mentor so that you can do it from your home. You can do it from your iPad or your BlackBerry, and you can do it at your convenience. So therefore, we've eliminated 1/3 of the total cost to obtain a degree. Okay, that's an immediate saving. The next thing is we've priced our tuition where we could make enough money to support our services, to add new facilities, to grow, to add more advisors, more faculty, etc. Yet, it's at a reasonable tuition so that it's affordable. So therefore, from an economic standpoint, from a business perspective, after all, we are a business school. So if we practice what we preach, then this is a good model. We deliver a good product, a good service, reasonable rate, and with no burden when you graduate. And the school is accredited. That testifies and substantiates the fact that we deliver a quality product.